Hi, thanks for having me.
When are you planning to go?
We're leaving on Sunday lunchtime.
And are you excited or are you worried?
I'm just excited. The whole team is just buzzing. We just can't wait to get out there and play.
But it was your team's officials who said that the athletes' village may not be fit for human inhabitation.
Yes, so I've read and heard, but we have just tried to ignore it and just concentrate mainly on our team performance. We have had correspondence with our medical team that are already out there, and they've informed us that our apartments are cleaned and ready for us to live in.
Well, Amy, let me introduce you to Mansher Singh. He's pretty much a superstar in India, a double gold medal winning shooter for the Indian Commonwealth Games team. He's going to be in the Games. Mansher, we've heard from some high-profile athletes, such as Geraint Thomas, the Welsh cyclist, that he won't be going. When you hear from Amy, do you feel more positive about the attitude of foreign athletes?
I'm really happy to hear her attitude, for sure. I think, and I've also been speaking to a lot of my friends in the Australian and English shooting teams about coming over here, and they're also all very excited to come. It's just that we've had this sort of a bad publicity, and partly because of our own fault, and it's caused a bit of apprehension on the part of a lot of people about coming to India. But us who are here, I've seen the facilities. I'm training on them every day, and they're comparable to Beijing, for sure, at least the shooting ranges. And they're even better, much better than the ones at Melbourne. So we have done a lot of hard work to put up this event, and our infrastructure that has come up. I know there are a few ceiling tiles that have fallen here and some mishaps here and there. But I think that is basically because we've just started too late to build all these facilities. We've just tried our best to make the best facilities in the least possible time. So I'm sure Amy is going to have a very good time in India, and hopefully the weather will be clearing up by then as well.
And certainly talking to a lot of the athletes that I've spoken to, a lot of them are really looking forward to it. Part of the Games experience is obviously mixing with athletes from other nations, and it tends to depend what sport they come from.
Why aren't you putting that on your front page? Why are we not seeing lots of features about excited athletes rather than the people like Philip Saduyu, the English triple jumper who doesn't want to go?
Because of a big name, if a big
it?
name pulls out, then obviously it's big news. And I was about to go on to say that actually it tends to depend which sport they come from as to how eager they are to compete. For some sports, it's the absolute pinnacle of their sport, and if you're in netball, then perhaps you're more keen to compete than if you're an athlete who's worrying about perhaps London 2012 is the thing you're worried about.
It's interesting, actually. We had Roger Black, the former world champion at 400 metres on World Have Your Say on the radio, BBC Radio, a couple of days ago, and he said, for the big athletes, I'm afraid the Commonwealth Games just isn't that big a deal. For lots of other athletes, of course, it's a very, very big deal. Amy, let me just quickly ask you, do you resent the athletes from the UK who've decided not to go? Do you think they should show a loyalty to Delhi and the commitment it's made to hosting these games?
No, not at all. It's an individual's preference whether they go. Obviously, health and security risks come first to them, so it's entirely up to their choice. And so, no, I don't resent that at all. But I agree. With us, the hockey team, it is the biggest multi-sport event that we can compete in. So we would definitely not pull out due to any health or security risks. We just want to get out there and play.
Very much sounds like it. Well, Amy, you're in Aberdeen. Barry is a Scot who's a little bit further from home. He's at Isan in Thailand. He emailed the BBC. We got back to him and got his phone number. Good to speak to you, Barry.
Certainly.
Hi, what's your point? Are you going to be going to the games? Are you going to be watching?
Well, I'm going to the games with my girlfriend. I'm really looking forward to it and have been planning it for years. But I have to say that the recent publicity has just made it a wee bit edgy, and you're hoping for the best, but to some extent fearing the worst.
What are you worrying about? And then maybe Mansher, with us in Delhi, can respond to it. What particular things are you concerned about?
Well, there was obviously, up till recently, the concern that, either a lot of athletes wouldn't come or teams wouldn't come, or the possible cancellation. But even now, I think if you're looking at the conditions in the athletes' village, it does make you a bit worried about the conditions in the city as a whole for spectators. It is my first visit to India, and I'm greatly anticipating it, and it's just left you with that wee bit of edge of nervousness, if you like. Looking forward to the event.
Mansher Singh's already talked about the facilities, which he says on the whole have been excellent in his experience. But Mansher, what about people thinking about coming to Delhi like Barry who are worried about security? I know you're not an expert in security, but what would you say to them if they said, I'm worried about coming to your city?
Well, if it's security you're talking about, then yes, it does. There are apprehensions always with big events all over the world. And we've had small incidents even in the Atlanta Olympics and the Athens Olympics for that matter. So there have been instances all over the world. It's a worldwide phenomenon. And just to target in a developing nation where you think there's more threat because there have been more instances in some countries than others, I don't think that's fair. I think you have to look at it that we are doing a very, very tough job to conduct these games. And security becomes an issue, obviously. But the government is in place, and I think they have it covered very, very well, more so in Delhi than other parts of India, at least for the next 1 month. So if you're coming to India, Delhi is probably the safest place that you can come to. That's for sure. As regards the other part of the city, the public transport system has been upgraded. I've never seen it so good before, and I've lived in Delhi all my life. There's a metro service which is going to run right throughout the whole games. It has been running successfully for the last few years. Some new areas have been added, so virtually a lot of Delhi is now covered by this.
So it sounds like you're saying it's about as best a time to go as it's ever been. Barry, does that put your mind at rest?
Well, it certainly helps. My primary concern isn't security. I think these things, as was said, are a worldwide threat, and you can't sort of change your life according to a few extremists. It's more the question of if the athletes' village is in not a great state of cleanliness and repair, what's the rest of the city like? What's the hotel accommodation like? So to an extent,
but I think the thing with that, Barry, and I expect Owen would agree, is that we just can't know the state of the athletes' village. It's very difficult to get in there. It's still a minute to go. Clearly, the England team are players staying in a hotel at the moment. We're just going to have to wait and see on that one.
No, I think that's right. Although the all the shift emissions from various teams have been in and out, and they do report that the situation is improving. But you have to remember that they were all there for a week even before this all blew up publicly, and they were trying to put pressure on the organisers. They were trying to get things changed, and nothing was happening. And that's where the real nervousness came from. As soon as the Indian government got control of the issue and started to force the issue, then we've started to see it move.
And Amy in Aberdeen, can we expect a gold medal for Scotland?
Well, we'll certainly try our best. We are aiming top 5, which is where we finished in Melbourne. So top 5 finish, but a medal would be much better, fantastic.
Well, best of luck. Have a great time. We hopefully see you on the podium. Good luck as well to Manchester Singh. Let's hope for a hat-trick of gold medals at the Commonwealth Games for him. Thanks also to Harit, who was with us from Mumbai, Phil Magodi in Soweto. Owen Gibson, thank you. Come back on World Have Your Say again. You can read his work at guardian.co.uk. If you want to talk about Iran's relationship with President Obama, join me on BBC Radio in a little while. I'll speak to you soon.